What's up, bros? My friends, my people, how y'all doing? Welcome to the Bulls on Wall Street show. We got a lot to uncover in the markets today because, dude, we had a little bit of a fandazzle this evening, or should I say this afternoon. The market got shredded and it got really, really nasty. And so we really need to uncover what the heck just happened here, because we looked like we were going for a breakout and then all of a sudden things started to change. And so let's dig into the market indexes and then let's dig into the watch list. There's still some good looking stocks out there. The question becomes, if we look at today's action, the question becomes, what the heck do we read into all of this? So this is kind of my 2 cents on this, all right? This is my 2 cents. This is my 2 cents on this. We had been having rising rates for quite some time. So if you look at the actual rates from what's been happening in the last, 2-3 weeks, the rates are going higher right now than they were before the Fed cut rates by 50 basis points. And so we've had a complete reversal in the rates. And we didn't get much of a reaction. So if you look at the 10-year bond, we have been going up for quite some time. So what I think actually ended up happening is we had a little bit of a delayed reaction, and then things just started to speed up. And then it doesn't help that old Druckenmiller and Paul Tudor Jones and everybody starts coming in and like, hey, inflation's coming back. And look, they're not going to impact the markets at all. But now there's a narrative that is starting to emerge. And the rumors have also been, right, that like, hey, the Fed may not cut this time. And my guess is they still do a little bit, but maybe they slow down the ascent of things. But this is going to be a tricky situation because if you look at TLT and if you look at the IWM, they are telling us something, right? That the rates are going up and they might be going up for a little bit of time and they might be there to stay. And so till that narrative changes, we'll have to be a little bit careful, right? So the IWM now has been down basically like 1%, 3-4 days in a row. And it's been getting very nasty. Now it's sitting back in support, but it's just stuck in a bigger, longer range. For the long-term health of the market, if you were a bull, you needed to see this breakout and you needed to see this thing hold. And now that we don't have that, it becomes infinitely more tricky. So let's kind of keep that into the back of our heads as we go through this. Hi, Batu. Batu, you want to say hi to everybody? Look at this guy. Batu, Mr. Poopy Pants. Mr. Poopy Pants. That's right. He likes to get in on the video time because this is his, this is where he gets to look at all the bright colors before mom finds out, and then it's all taken away from us, if you know what I mean. So we have a nasty, nasty dip in the QQQ. So the question is, okay, is it a one-off thing? So we do have maybe a potential savior minus the interest rates. And I think that is going to be on this Tesla. So if you look at old Tesla, we just had earnings out today. And it is, guys, dude, 20 points on Tesla is really something. 20 points on Tesla is really something. Not only are you kind of breaking out of all this range, but what you're starting to do is breaking out over all its MAs, but it may just give the tech market a little bit of that jolt that it needs, right? A little bit of that jolt that it needs, because even though Tesla's not like some big market cap, it's a huge market cap, I should say, but it's not as big as compared to Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, right? Google, right? You're talking 1/4 of the size. But it has such a big impact on traders' psyche, right? When we look at Tesla, that's our measure of risk in the market. That's our measure of speculation in the market. So if this thing holds up and follows through, then I think we're going to be in for a nice time, and maybe that saves the market. So there's two things that I want to keep an eye on for tomorrow. Number one is Tesla, and then the second one, keep an eye on TLT. We need to see some softening in the rates, right? We need to see some type of stabilization, because this is just a route, right? It's just a route. So if you look at TLT, it's just a route. I mean, every day, down, 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 down. We had a couple green days in there, and this is kind of right. We need these interest rates to go down for the long-term health of speculation. I don't know anything about rates in terms of on the economic side of things, right? But what we do know is we need the lower rates for the speculation. We're starting to get them. And so we've got ourselves a good spot here. So let's keep an eye on this. So let's dig into the watch list, because I do think I want to plan for a couple different things. Number one is I want to plan for, hi, Bachu. I want to plan for the market rolling over, and then I also want to plan for the market bouncing. This is not a linear market. So guys, when you have certain markets are just easy, and you just lay the wood on, you take some risk, and everything tends to roll out. Because of this day here, and if we start to break down, all of a sudden it's not a linear market where it's just a long-only market. Yes. Where it's just a long-only market. All of a sudden we're going to need longs, we're going to need shorts, and we're going to have to mix in day trades and swing trades, all of the things. And so the market starts to get a little bit more advanced as we start to go through this. So let's take a look. I want to make sure that we have a little bit of mixture of everything. Bachu, that's the gold chain, buddy. That's the gold chain. You don't want to mess with that, do you? So let's start to dig in. First stock I want to talk about, fun. If I gap up on this, we took a trade on this today. I made like 60 cents on it, but we took a trade on this today. That's my gold chain. We took a trade on this today, and I made 60 cents on it, and then it just ramped back. I got stopped out on some of my lottos. If it gaps up tomorrow, I want to see a big gap. I'm talking like 10%, 20%. I think we get a really, really nice short. It's not crazy hard to borrow. If you look at the float on this bad boy, it's about 100, and it's got 109 million share float. So it's not like a low float stock where like you can't find the borrow. You're going to be able to find the borrow. E-Trade had them the other day. Interactive Brokers has them. So you're going to be able to find them. Maxwell. Love the look of this. All right. So Max Linear, right, is a tech company. And dude, it's a semi. You got this huge base breakout here. And it's starting to take out this range. If it can break and hold here, dude, where can you go? The gap fill goes to 21. Guys, there's not that many semiconductors that have this look. What I want you to compare this to is Wolf. If you remember, we had on the blog Wolf just a little bit ago. And the exact same look here. I was putting on the blog every day. Here. And finally, right, it busted through. Right now, look, it had a huge expansion in volume that Maxwell does not have yet. But it can get there, right? It can get there. You never know. It just takes an upgrade, some kind of PR, and then now you're off to the races, and you're going to be in for it. Peloton. So you got this big base breakout here. Now you're starting to flag. You got a good look on this. Look, today had an increase in volume. It tested the 9 EMA. You had a 10% run. So it had nice relative strength. It looks like maybe there was a little bit of something coming in end of the day. They just did have news with Costco too. So you got all sorts of goodies on this bad boy. Yes, Bachu. You had all sorts of goodies on this bad boy that comes into it. I think it's got a good overall look to it. Let's add this. If this has a weak open tomorrow, I'm coming in for a red to green. Like, I like the overall look of it. Yes, Bachu. Now check this bad boy out. Capper. Check out this capper, right? So you got a nice base breakout right at about 2150. Dude, if it breaks that, I think we're going to be in for a nice little hoot nanny. It's got a little bit less liquidity than I like. Bachu, stop doing that. It's got a little bit of less liquidity than I like, but you can't argue with this. Like today, the market is rolling over, right? And you've got yourself this huge little flag pattern. It's up 7% today, or 6.2%. That's a good look to it. Like let's roll with that. AQST, another little guy. Not my particular flavor of stock, but dude, this thing's got 6 written all over. You got a nice flag pattern. You can put your stop loss right under the 9 EMA. Dude, you got a nice look to it. I love it. TSM, we shredded this thing in the morning. I had calls on this thing. The Friday calls on this thing. You know, it gapped down, and then, dude, had a nice spike, double bottom, so on and so forth. I still like the overall look of it. You had an earnings gapper here and a pullback to the 9 EMA, and you got a green candle to hold. Even while the market's pulling back, like that's picture perfect. That's what you want to see. Love that look. PCT, we've been putting this on the blog every day. I'm not touching it till it breaks this range. When it does, it's a 3 to 4 year breakout. It's going to go nuts. Palantir got a flag pattern here. Also finished green on the day, just barely, but still holding up like a champ here. It's got this 45 written all over it. That's the IPO breakout. If it gets there, I mean, we're partying. Cart, test. I've got alert set right at 45. I ain't touching it till it gets there in case the market rolls over, but if it does, it's got a nice spot. A-Lab, about $70. $70 is the spot here. Once again, with the weakness in the market, I'm not going to try to step in front of it. I need this thing to do. Bachu, get your feet out of your mouth. Yeah? Get your feet out of your mouth, you little silly boy. I'm not touching it till it gets to 70. All right? So, look at the muscles on this thing. You see those pecs? Look at there. Bachu, show them the pecs a little bit. Yeah. You got it, buddy. Dell, if tech bounces, semis bounce. I got the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average right there. Dude, you got a good spot on this. It was just 130 a few days ago. Love this wolf. This is probably my favorite. It reminds me a little bit of TSM. It did pop into the 9 EMA end of day and then kind of bounce. I think if you get a weak open on this tomorrow, we red to green this thing and we play for the bounce as long as the market holds up. The market is showing a lot of cross currents, so we want to make sure. Yes. We want to make sure that we're playing to the upside, right? Meaning we need the wind at our back before we do it. Yes, Bachu. Yes, Bachu. Now, WWE. This is a small little biotech, but I'm kind of interested in this. Look at the narrow range candles on this. So as this popped up to 16, you got a 3-day pullback, just really, really light, about 1% a day. When I see a pullback like that that's super light, I usually see that as like a sign that it's about to rip again. If you look at the opening candle on this bad boy, right? You did about 20 million shares in volume, and now you're pulling back at about 1. That's usually a pretty good sign that something's coming about. And then I got a couple more here, right? NCLH, nice flag pattern right into the 9 EMA post that breakout, right? So you had a big breakout. Now you're running in post and you're kind of hanging out right at that 9 EMA. I think you got yourself a good shot on this thing. Dude, if you look at the overall breakout, like how long it is, it's a multi-year breakout. Yes, Batu. It's a multi-year breakout on this thing. And so now you're pulling back into the 9 EMA. You love the look on this thing. Couple more. Liu. Look at this. You go from 55 to 105. You got a 3-day pullback. If this gaps down tomorrow and tests into the 9 EMA, I think we try to buy. It's pulling back on lower volume than it went up. It's got a good look to it. So We got ourselves all sorts of fun on this. Yes, Batu. We got all sorts of fun on this. UPST, I'm putting on the leave alone. And look, Wolf, they did an offering. Well, it was more of a convertible. And not really much of a reaction on this thing. It was a $300 million convertible. Not much of a reaction on this. If this goes red to green and Rams tomorrow, and it's viewed as a positive for this stock, then I think the crypto stocks go. And we have MSTR that tested its 9 EMA today. Dude, it's got a hot spot right there around 220. I would say 222 and some change. So we could trade around that and really get this thing going. Sing for it, baby. So guys, that's all I got for today. The Batu singing into the microphone. Batu, sing. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I get back, you say. I love you guys. Peace. I love you too. I love you too. I love you too. Yes.